ஹலோ ஹலோ காயத்ரி கேட்கலையே.
Yes, ma'am.
ஹலோ
Yes, ma'am.
இந்த இதில் எனக்கு ஹலோ கேட்குது காயத்ரி.
Yeah, ma'am.
ஆடிபிள்மா.
Audible, ma'am.
10 o'clock we can start, ma'am.
ஓகேப்பா ஓகேப்பா.
It is audible, ma'am. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, my voice is audible. I'm just checking whether voice is clear or not because I'm not able to hear this. Thank you. Hello.
Yes, Vilas.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just checking whether because I'm not hearing any sound from.
Yeah, they are just going to start now in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Just keep-
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Hello, Gayatri ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Would we be starting now?
Then I come to HR, ma'am.
அவன் எங்க ராஜு இங்கதான் இருக்கான். ராஜு இங்கதான் இருக்கான்.
Participant, kindly mute your.
Hello? Hello? Audible? Gayatri?
Yes, ma'am. You are audible. We can start the program, ma'am.
Hello, Gayatri?
Yeah, ma'am. You can audible.
Hello?
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. Your voice is audible, ma'am.
I'm audible.
The warm and
கேக்குதா? நான் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணவான்னு கேட்குறேன் காயத்ரி.
இல்ல அவங்க ஸ்டார்ட்
ma'am,
பண்ணுங்க.
start பண்ணலாம், ma'am.
நீங்க ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுங்க.
சரி
Yeah,
ஸ்டார்ட்.
ma'am.
கேக்குதா? Good morning, all of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All praises
morning.
are goes to Almighty only. In the name of God, the most merciful, the most beneficent. Good morning to all. I am extremely honored for having this opportunity to welcome the dignitaries and enthusiastic participants for this wonderful workshop on quantity surveying. First of all, I would like to thank our management, our chairman sir, and our directors for giving permission and encourage us to organize such a fantastic program and useful program to the civil engineers. It is my privilege to welcome our magnetic principals of AJ College and Mohammed Sadak Engineering College. They are triggered and motivate us in many ways to take our colleges in the next level. Without that support, we cannot achieve anything. Really, I am very happy to welcome both of you, sir. Next, I am very delightful to hearty welcome our today's speakers, the eminent persons, Mr. Asis Pimple Gray, Senior Associate Director, Gleeds Consulting Private Limited, and Mr. Vilas Sende, the Cost Manager, Gleeds Consultancy Private Limited. Really, we are very fortunate to hear your thoughts and experiences in this field. Your acceptance is not only our privilege, but honor of our entire Sadak Trust. On behalf of our trust, AJ College and Mohammed Sadak Engineering College, and my own behalf, I honorably welcome you, sir. I welcome both of you with my folded
you.
hands. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
acceptance and
Thank you
welcome
very
you.
much.
Next,
you.
I want to welcome the HOD of AJ College, Mr. Shanmugarajan, and the coordinators, Ms. Gayatri and Mr. Jayamukesh. They took more effort to organize such a mega event that strain converted to gain today. Next, I extend my hearty welcome to all enthusiastic HODs, intelligent faculties, and the enthusiastic distinguished participants and my dear students. Really, I am very proud to welcome our younger generation. Dear students, if you brighten your thought, broaden your heart, whiten your mind, tighten your belt, sharpen your brain, and enlighten your neighbor, definitely you will be success in your future. I'm sure that today's workshop will provide an excellent platform to exchange the knowledge. The eminent personalities today is ready to throw a light on this topic of quantity surveying. Utilize this opportunity and interact with them by asking questions after ending of the sessions. I don't want to waste much time. Within these few words, once again, I welcome each and every one of you to release and reminisce this intellectual feast. Good morning and welcome all ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Deepa, ma'am, you can
Yes,
take over the session.
right. Good morning to everyone present here. Kudos to the entire management of the colleges, Mohammed Sadak and AJ College of Engineering. Fabulous initiative for the benefits of the entire students of this country. So I would just like to give a brief introduction, a quick introduction about Gleeds. Gleeds has its presence in 6 different states in our country, and we are having over 130 plus years of experience. Today, the speakers have extensive experience in quantity surveying. I would like to, say that encouraging words to the students that please do make as much as notes as you can. You guys are the face of the country, the future CEOs. So I would really like to, encourage you to go ahead, make your notes, pay as much attention as you can. Okay, and I hope this session is going to be a value-packed session for you. So without any further delay, I would like to hand over the session to our team of experts. First, going to Ashish Pimpalkare. Over to you, Ashish. All the very best, guys.
Yeah, hi. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to all the faculty members, all management personnel, and all the students of Mohammad Satak College, AJ College of Engineering. So I will be now starting the session. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Visible.
So today we will be conducting a workshop on quantity surveying and cost management. So the session will be held in two parts. First one is the pre-contract parts of quantity surveying and cost management, and second one is the post-contract part. So each session will be 45 minutes, and after that 15 minutes we have kept for question and answers for each session. So you can ask whatever questions you have, go through what we are presenting. There will be a lot of terminologies which you will not understand currently, but during the course of your career, slowly with experience, you will gain further knowledge on that. So cost informs design. So cost must always advise how to achieve its aims and within budgets which are established by a client. So whatever design it may be, we as a cost manager should guide that it should be within the budgets, and upfront if we need to tell clients certain times that if it is not fitting, then there should definitely be some changes, and we try to fix everything within the budgets which are established. The pre-contracts part of cost management. So pre-contracts covers this at the development cost estimates and stages, the cost drivers, the escalation and contingencies, value and risk management, estimate checklist and cost reports, benchmarking, procurement and tendering process, tender evaluation and negotiations, award of works, and contract document. All these forms part of pre-contract cost management. So the content of this presentation is the role of quantity surveying, cost managers, then development cost, process of cost planning, the cost drivers, value and risk management, benchmarking process, then tendering process, pre-qualification, form of contracts, tender documents, then techno-commercial ratings and negotiations, cost management examples of best practice, and lesson learned and conclusion. Then will be the question and answer round. So what is common in all these projects? This is the Burj Khalifa. This is the Mumbai International Airport. This is the 6.5 million square foot Surat Diamond Bourse, which is a single building, largest commercial building in India. This what you are seeing is a development by Godrej Developers. It's a Godrej team, which has 2.5 million square feet of A-grade commercial offices, then 200 key 5-star hotel operated by Taj Group, then roughly around 2.5 million of residential development. This is a world-class 2.7 million Kohinoor Square project in Dadar, Mumbai. So all these are what you have seen is world-class buildings, built within time schedules, budgets in millions, and most important part is all are executed in collaboration of multiple stakeholders. The owners, the architects, the structural consultants, the contractors, the cost consultant, MEP consultant, vertical transport, and multiple other consultants. So it is a joint effort of all these stakeholders, and in absence of any one of it, it would not have been a success. So QS is one of the essential part of the project team. So one is the builder, one is the quantity surveyor, engineer, PM, the client, and architect. So all these are stakeholders, and all contribute for the success of any project. So what is quantity surveying? So quantity surveying, it deals with estimation and managing cost of construction project. It takes into account all the material resources, equipments needed for development of the project, and quantity surveyors work out as the detailed estimate cost and continue to keep the watch on project costs even during the execution of project. That is monitoring of costs during the execution. So why quantity surveying? So if you have a knack for numbers and maths, you are more into logic, then you want a job, don't want a job that is too rigid. say there are certain jobs which people don't want to have, then you can definitely opt for quantity surveying. Pre-contracts part mostly is an office job, and the post-contract will be site-based, but majorly site office-based works. And you want an intelligent and challenging degree. And what are the key skills required? So good foundation in IT and mathematics, all concepts are clear, logic are clear. Then you must be able to learn and adapt in fast-paced environment, and good interpersonal skills. So further, the roles of quantity surveyors include is traditional role is all the measurements which you need to do from drawings, the estimates you need to price, do rate analysis, bill checking, and claim management. Further, during procurement, the tender document and submissions. So what will be now and future? So dynamic cost, faster and complex changes, technology, claim management, BIM, building information management, life cycle costing, and multifaceted procurements. These are the different type of asset classes. First one, if you see, is a residential project. Second one is the hotel project. Third is the retail mall, the malls which you are well familiar with. The fourth one on the left bottom side is the educational building. Then center one in the bottom is the warehouse, and right hand side bottom is a fit out of an A-grade office like of Amazon, Google's, and TCS. So development cost. What all is covered in development cost? The cost of building and site improvement, interiors, DA and approvals, pre-opening and working capitals, professional and legal consultant, finances, development overheads, land TDR, fungible loading. So components of development cost. So land approvals, cost of land, stamp duty and registration, all the legal and technical due diligence, market research, what are the current rates going on for the land, what is the prevailing rate in that areas, what are the last 5 projects sold in that area. Then brokerage. It is not possible for directly to owner to sell or to do transactions. So brokerages are also involved in wherein you need to pay the brokerages to agents. Then approval and FSI and TDR cost. Coming to building site improvements and interiors. Thus, excuse me, site stabilization, conditions improvement of the soil, strata. If it's black cotton soil, you need to stabilize the soil. Then the temporary work such as temporary fencing you need to do, temporary site office, temporary road at the beginning of the works. Then construction, shell and core construction, that is the structure which includes your foundation, rafts, retaining walls, column, beam, slabs. Then the facade. Facade is the skin which is covering entire project. Then the services being the electrical connections, electrical points, mechanical services, plumbing works, firefighting works, and all the low side works such as fire alarms, security, and the finishes. Whatever the flooring you intend to provide, whatever cladding, whatever ceiling you need to provide. Then the furnitures and fixed furniture and equipment cost, along with artwork, IT and digitization, whatever IT solutions you need to provide, Wi-Fi, connectivity, containment. Then the signage being one of the important part, wherein it is bifurcated as directional signages, which shows the direction. Then wayfinding signages, the signages which you see in mall for stairs, escalators, and the main building signage and the totem signage. Then the racking system and security system, and tenant improvement. Tenant improvement includes whatever tenants are going to come in that building and whatever works needs to be done for that tenant. Those all are covered in tenant improvement. And the operating supplies and OPEX, which will include the kitchen and food court equipments, restaurant operating supplies, housekeeping, office equipments, then operating supplies, linen, plates, dustbin, consumables, parking management, equipments, and safety products. Then there are pre-opening costs, which includes the pre-opening teams, hotels, malls, commercial offices. So pre-launch bash for launch of a hotel or a mall, pre-launch is there, pre-launch parties are there. The snacks, closeout and changes, preparations, and utility costs. The component of development cost. What all includes in development cost is consultants, local and international. The licensing consultant and design architects, the structural engineers, building MEP services consultants, project managers who manage the project, cost managers who do all the budgets and tracking of the budget, landscaping consultants, VT, vertical transport, that is for the elevators, escalators, then the facade consultants, traffic and lighting consultants, quality consultants, then the BIM information system, data management, legal and external audits, and last is the peer review for structure and MEP. Certain buildings, even though they are having structure and MEP consultants, certain clients opt for peer review, wherein a proof checking is done for the design which is developed by structural consultant and MEP consultant. Then comes the finance cost, the debt and the equity cost, borrowing cost, interest servicing, the taxations and the forex, whatever fluctuation in foreign currency for buying high-end equipments, that all is covered in finance cost. Then development overheads, the marketing. Every project will need marketing some or the other way. It will be form of advertising. It will be in form of people marketing the project. Then the lease commissioning and incentives, the leasing agents for which we need to pay them commissions. Then the project teams for running the entire project. The insurances, various insurances covers the contractor all risk insurances, third party insurances. ESS, CPF, then WCT, then administration costs, what all administration costs are involved in the project, then corporate overheads and risk mitigation costs. So the various stages of cost management. Cost management workflow, first part is pre-construction, as I told you, and next one is the construction one. So stage one is the programming, initial planning phase. Then comes the conceptual stage where at least the area, how much area one needs to develop, that is known, and on that basis the cost plan is developed, which is a feasibility study stage. Then is the schematic design stage. Almost 60% of schematic design is developed, and on that basis the cost plan and budgets are updated. Then comes the design development. Design development is the 85% to 90% stage of the actual good for construction drawings. And on this stage, the tenders are floated, budget is finalized, and tendering process started for getting contractors on board. Then the construction documents, all the contract documents, tender documents, all those comes in construction documents. And in construction phase comes the post-contract part, wherein monthly bills pay request of vendors are to be calculated, and construction claim analysis and monitoring of cost is done. So this is the entire cost management workflow. As soon as the cost planner is engaged by the owner, and usually we have found that cost planner needs to be on board at the initial concept stage only, so that he can add can be added only during the initial stage only. That is sometimes before design. But budget is monitored throughout design and construction drawings. That is in the post-contract scenario. Again, the cost monitoring is done throughout the end of the project. Otherwise, the contractor will take us for a toss. He will make extra claims. He will overrun the budget, and all claims will come, which will be difficult for a client to manage. After the owner has set a maximum cost planning will determine whether the cost cap can be met. If not, then the project is not feasible. Then the current state and should be reworked to reduce cost. As I've told earlier, if the cost is not working, see, architects have aspirational values. They will design to their aspirational values, but every time it rework needs to be done. Additionally, cost planning is used to structure financing for the project. Cost planning informs the owner exactly when installments will be needed, so that they end cost planning. What are the different reasons? Better and in-depth understanding of property and access to historical information. He is doing the projects since past so many years, so he has a lot of data for similar nature projects. What were the costs there? What costs have been incurred? What additional extra items have been incurred from alternative building materials, methods that can save time and money. So architectural, but we as a cost manager should see whether it is within the budget and saving time and money. The rate of project forecast. Skilled in identify the project risk at the initial finance approach. Getting an early cost plan with help in providing project's feasibility and demand a commitment to strong financial management. Influence curve. This is a simple curve wherein the dark purple will show the traditional project life cycle of a project. Then opportunity to influence the design and save the cost is at the initial stage only, which is the dotted line which you are seeing. At the planning stage, opportunity to influence is more. And as the time progresses and goes into implementation stage, then the cost of change is going to, if it is not controlled, then it is going to increase only, which will result in increase in cost and project overruns. So various type of cost plans. According to ACE, Association of Advancement of Cost Engineering, this is usually followed in outside India, and the various classes are the class 5, class 4, class 3, class 2, and class 1. Class 5 and 4 being the order of magnitude, class 3 being the budgetary, and class 2 and class 1 being the definitive. And the level of accuracy, if you see, low expected being minus 50 to 20, minus 30 to 15, minus 20 to 10, minus 15 to 5%, and minus 10 to positive 3%. So what we follow in India is cost planning in India is the order of magnitude cost planning, cost key of cost per square feet, or sort of estimates which are at feasibility level. Then comes the concept stage. Early stage design is developed, areas are available, and through benchmarking information and similar projects plus abnormal, the cost plans are developed. So then comes the schematic stage estimates. Schematic stage estimates defined from look and feel of the design, and first detailed design measurements are done at this stage, and cost estimates are prepared, including the contingency and escalation. So concept stage, if you see, you will get accuracy of plus minus 10%. Schematic stage, when you come, you get accuracy of plus minus 7%. Then detailed design stage estimates. Detailed design is the detailed design is approved by all the stakeholders, including the owners, and then measurements are done on that, and market check of rates, whatever specific requirements of clients and value engineering options, all those have been worked out, and the estimates are developed. And the accuracy level, what you get at design development level is plus minus 5%. Then the tender stage cost estimates. So tender stage is the good for construction usually, or which are almost close to 90-95% of actual construction. So typically used to compare against contractor's estimate and reduce contingency. And the accuracy, what we get at tender stage cost estimate is plus minus 2 to 3%. Next comes the process of cost planning. So what is the basis of cost planning? The type of procurement routes, type of contractors, project schedules, level of design, scope of work, standard formats, RICS, AACC, or B-scope form of contracts. Then the cost planning, risk register, basis of estimate, and cost reports. These are the cost check during the design development. So I'll not go into details, but you can just have a look at the flow chart for this. Coming to key cost drivers. What are cost drivers? Cost drivers are the elements which derive the cost, and these affect a lot when we want to do the costing, since cost drivers are the major factors affecting the cost. So first one is the project positioning, market or project feasibility studies. Whether the location of the project is low cost, or the neighborhood is low, or it is the mid-market segment or the upscale segment, whether it is a luxury project or upper luxury. Then comes the project standard and specifications, whether it is a branded project, city-based owner or developer project, national owner or developer project, international chains, soft alliance, standalone or boutique developments. Next comes the location, abnormal ground and surrounding conditions, whether the terrain is very high, lot of cut and fill is required. The location factor, whether it is a metro zone or a non-metro zone, tier 2 city, tier 3 city. Then comes the building shape and area programming. Area division between the components, mixed use development, whether it is a township, whether it is a standalone, whether it is a mix of retail and commercial, including the multiplex, all those factors. Then non-conventional design, as can be visible in the picture, whether the project has large spans, warehousing, convention centers, columnless structures, and the construction methodology to be used for construction. Next cost drivers is the type of structures, remediation of existing site conditions. Then whether depending on the earthquake zoning, the cost drivers will vary. Zone 2, zone 3, depending on the foundation, type of foundation, whether it is isolated footing, whether it is a raft footing, whether it is a pile foundation. These are the major cost drivers deriving the foundation cost. Then the framing option, whether it is a shell and core, whether the slabs are PT slabs, post tensioning, whether it is a flat slab. Then the fire protection norms. So whatever local fire protection norms, these also are the cost driving factors for arriving the budget. Then the building heights. There may be certain restriction because of the aircraft, air movement, funnel movement. So that also govern the cost drivers for deriving cost. And the parking, whether it has structure as a basement, whether it has a podium parking, whether it has multi-level car parking, and the shape and framing and location of parking, multi-stake combo puzzle park or regular stack car park. Last one is the automated car parks. All these govern the cost of parking in the overall budget. Then the next key driver being the facade and heights, type of facade, shape of building, the elevation factors, height premiums, floor to floor heights, sustainability, additional preliminary and overheads, and vertical transportation. So the chart below shows you different plan sizes wherein the areas are different, but the perimeter for all the buildings is coming as same. And when you see the elevational area, which is the facade area, perimeter into height, 3 meter is the assumption. And if you consider the elevation factor, that is elevation area divided by the plan area. So least 0.29 which we are getting, that will be the most economical one. And next cost driver is the area configuration. Whether it is a residential development, apartment, there may be different type of apartments, different type of flat typology, flat matrix, a 2 BHK, 2.5 BHK, 1 BHK, 3 BHK, and the parkings. Then in case of hotels, there will be the rooms, different type of rooms, whether it is a king suite, queen suite, or single room. Then front of house areas, the back of house areas, which are the cost driving factors. In hotel, the restaurants, whether it is a signature restaurant or a display restaurant. Coming to retail and commercial projects, the parking areas, because usually for retail and commercial, a lot of people will come and a lot of parking spaces required. Then the carpet area, ratios of carpet area to parking areas, the common areas, corridors, lift lobbies, and what all facilities are to be provided. Warehouses, the cold rooms, the standard office spaces, all these are the cost drivers. And office, in case of office, the open spaces, front of, whether it is a back office, whether it is a front office, all the costs depend on the utility of the offices. Next cost drivers for food and beverages, whether how many number of restaurants are there, whether it is a signature restaurant, whether it is a specialty restaurant, live display kitchen counters are there, banquet facilities is there. So banquet facility means you will require more of a parking and support for all the BH areas. Next cost driver is the building services IT integration. Distance from the grid, how long you will require the building electricity line to be drawn. If it is the power station at nearby location is 10 kilometers away, you need to factor the cost of laying the 10 kilometer line also. Then the power requirements, amount of energy and power backups. HVAC systems for heating, cooling, MVAC for building volumes. Then the fire protection norms, whatever fire protection norms stipulated to that regions, all those govern the cost. Then the BMS, building management system, and low voltage systems, such as fire alarm, security, IT integration, life cycle cost, and security. All these are the cost drivers for building services. Coming to interior finishes and fixed furniture and equipments, driven by interior designer and operators, whatever design they provide, you need to factor all those things as a cost driver while budgeting any project. Designing to budget, availability in local markets. All the materials suggested by, if they are available in local market, that will be the cheapest option. If you need to import, then the costs are going to increase. Then the recommended makes, and if recommended makes are not available, then what alternatives we are having. Then the agile and future proofing of buildings. And the again key cost drivers are the project schedule. Whatever timings required for approval and permits, the design developments and procurement and construction stage, pre-opening and time overruns. Prolongation of project duration will lead to number of claims. The overheads will increase. There will be more design alterations. Forex fluctuation will increase. Initially, the duration was 36 months, and if it prolongs to say 48 months, whatever material we need to buy through foreign exchange, again that will be delayed, and the cost of forex will increase. Late revenue generations. So developer has agreed to lease and he has signed the lease agreements with certain clients. In that case, because of prolonged duration, he will be able to hand over them at a later stage. Then loss of revenue for the developer. Then the financing cost, interest on financing cost goes on increasing if the project is delayed. The next cost drivers is the finance, structuring costs, currency risk, debt equity ratio, and repayment schedules. Then next cost driver is the government taxes and levies, the GST, the labor cess, import duties, SEZ, whether it is a SEZ zone, then there are certain levies on the taxes, EPCG duty schemes. And the site development, overall site area. Whatever site development means, apart from building footprint area, what all covers is within the compound wall, that development of that area comes in site development. The connectivity to main roads, whether direct access or we need to do separate access, then cost is incurred for that. Extent of site development, podiums and extended decks, the various water bodies which are provided by the landscape consultants, that governs the cost for entire budget. And any special aspirations such as golf courses, these if are there in the project, definitely will add up to the project cost. Then cost driver is the procurement strategy, that is the construction procurement, global procurement, annual rate contracts, bulk purchase, reverse auction technology, time criteria for delivery. Then factors affecting procurement: time, cost and quality, time, speed of program, phasing of projects, cost certainty, overall cost, and ease with changes can be affected. And quality, that is the overall quality control over the design process, quality and design, quality control over the quality of construction. Then factors affecting procurement are the economics, general level of tender activities, market conditions. Currently, the diesel rates are increased very high. So all these factors govern the procurement. Then micro market tender activities, project specific. Then the project sector, size of project, client, whether it is a project of a client or a developer, risk appetite, and pool of suitable contractors. So various procurement routes are, first one is the design, bid and bid. So design is developed by architect and it is tenders are called for bidding and the entire project is built. Then the main or general contractor route. So general contractor route means general contractor is the one who is given the shell and core works and all other packages such as the services packages, the facade packages, the security packages, fixed furniture and interior packages, external development packages, or all are put under general contractor as and he's paid a nomination charge. All these vendors, sub-vendors will be a nominated subcontractor under the general contractor. Then is the design and build. The design and build route means contractor is asked to design the building and he will only build. So wherein the direct negotiations is there, competition is there, because multiple contractors will design it and the cost also will be varying for their particular design and develop and custom. Then the project alliance, fourth one is project alliance integrated project delivery. Above procurement model typically allows conversion to lump sum of fixed price, guaranteed maximum price, or whatever variations comes in that all is included in project allowances. So these are the examples of packaging strategy. Say what all covers in excavation package, shore piling, civil and structural works, then what all is there in waterproofing works, what all cover in finishing packages, facade works, building services works, that will have electrical, firefighting, plumbing, rainwater harvesting, sewage, HVAC, UPS, and low voltage will cover public address system and fire alarm system, CCTVs and BMS. And last is the IT works and then direct purchase item. Certain items will be there which will be direct purchased by clients, since these are all high value items like the diesel generators, light fixtures, facade lights, interior lights, landscape lights, the standalone air conditioning systems, signages, loose furniture, then the gas and LPG system, then the sewage treatment plants, water treatment plants, organic waste converters, elevators, security equipments, parking equipments, and artwork. So I hope everyone is with me till now. No one is getting bored.
No, sir, you can start.
Yeah, right. So next one is the cost plan status. Whatever costs we arrive, we have a certain formats wherein we, if you can see, this is a sample formats. For first one is the preliminaries and overheads. Whatever cost for security services, water charges, electricity charges, temporary fencing, all these are covered in preliminary and overheads. Then substructure and superstructure for basic civil work. This is all the shell and core works, where all the concrete works, form work, all this comes in basic civil works. Then the architectural works, the brickwork, plastering, all these works are covered in architectural works. External facade finishes, the external skin which is coming on the project, that is the glazing part, whether it is aluminum cladding or stone cladding, all those are covered in facade finishes. Then the interior works, whatever is inside the apartments or flooring, the tiling, the painting, all those are covered in interior works. Service, then comes the services part, plumbing works for all toilets, plumbing works is done, firefighting as per the latest norms. Then the common area services, MEP equipments, direct purchase item by developer, and last one is the external development. All this comes under hard cost of construction cost. Then comes the fixed furnitures and equipments which are directly procured by clients, and the soft costs. Soft cost covers this, the contingency, the escalation, green building provisions, consultant costs, etc. So this is the standard format which is followed for the cost planning. Next is the escalation, contingency, and risk. So contractors work in environment of risk and uncertainty caused by various economic factors, majorly governed by material cost fluctuation, labor fluctuation, and equipment cost fluctuation. Various factors determining escalation are volatile markets, uncertainty in labor availability, crude prices, finance cost, forex fluctuation, fixed price, and delays. Escalation clauses are used in contracts to avoid cost overruns and to mitigate the cost of escalations. Escalation can be determined by wholesale price index, that is WPI, using the RBI formula, then the consumer price index, and CIDC, Construction Industry Development Council indices. And the different type of contingencies are the design contingency. Whatever design changes will happen, those are covered in design contingency before the project also, and even during the execution of the project. Then comes the construction contingency. Construction contingency involves the unforeseen things which happen during the construction. All those are covered in construction contingencies. Then is the management contingencies. Management contingency includes all the management overheads and costs. Then contingency usually excludes major scope changes such as changes in the end product capacities, building sizes, and location. Extraordinary events such as major strikes, the pandemic which is going on, the natural disasters, escalation, and currency effects. So this is how the contingency is broken down into multiple packages. So preliminary and site overheads, it is only 3.5%. Excavation, you cannot foresee what all strata is there below the ground. So excavation will carry always a higher contingency. Then structural works, you have a fixed design, fixed drawing at DD stage or even at GFC stage. So the structural works contingency will be 3.5. Architectural work will be 3%. External facade is fixed design. So interior parts, again, it is 5% because it is an aspirational value, and depending on what type of features the client has approved and architect wants, so the contingency for interior works is more. Services will be all these services, clubhouse, external development will be high because there may be chances that during the execution of project, certain norms as per the local statutory, all those can change, and that affects the services cost. So the contingency which is kept is 7%, and for taxes it is kept at 5%. This is example of how the escalation is worked. Initially, if you see, for each head there is a cost. So if you see, initial cost was 762 crores as per the cost plan which was approved. Then till the end of the project and project duration, it has gone to 840 crores. So pure escalation during the project duration is 78 crores, coming out to 10.22%. Then the risk register. So cost manager is the one who needs to identify the risk, or even initial stage of the that is the pre-contract works, and even during the post-contract works, that is during the execution. For example, I will pre-contract I will give you. So certain times the developers are in a hurry, say builders, if you see, they are in a hurry to launch their projects, because once they launch the project, they will start getting bookings and revenue starts coming. But the design is at schematic stage only. So that is a major risk. Tender should be floated at design development stage, which is almost 80-85% of the final design. So before that, it is advisable not to float the tender. And coming to post-contract risk, if excavation package is given to separate contractor and shell and core work are given to separate package, then we as a cost manager need to ensure that before the shell and core contractor comes into picture, all the excavation works are completed. Otherwise, shell and core contractor contract has been awarded, and his all the labor material will be sitting idle, and he will start his claims against that. What are the various estimate checklists prior to start? I will not go into details because this is a detailed outline of checklist, and we also have time shortage. So I will just quickly run through the estimate checklist. This is what all is required for the substructure. This is required for the shell works. This is required for the interior works, and this is required for the services part. Equipment and furniture. Then whenever the budget is completed, you need to submit or project it to the higher management. So the cost reports are prepared, wherein you will give detailed description of what all considerations are there, what all considerations are done during finalization of the cost reports, cost budgets. So standard requirement of cost reports is as per a description of project, then cost plan summary. Then the basis of cost plan will be the base date, procurement and contract strategy, pre-construction and construction phase programs, information use, schedule of gross internal floor areas, building works, main contractor preliminaries, main contractor overhead profits, project and design team fees, other development and project costs, risk allowances, inflation, escalation, any taxes, GST, value-added tax, items included and excluded from cost plan, the transfers and adjustment, value engineering options and recommendations. Then comes the detailed summary of the cost plan and the various appendices, the drawing list referred, whatever makes they have provided, potential value engineering options, item included, excluded, all those comes in the appendices. Important part of cost planning is the benchmarking. What is benchmarking? Benchmarking is basically apple to apple comparison for similar nature projects. If developer wants to develop a project, say of 10 million square feet, so what all conditions he need to consider in his budget? So benchmarking is we need to benchmark and make a comparative of all the similar nature projects within that area, which will give the cost per square feet for the structure, what are the considerations, what type of tiles are considered for finish, what type of facade is considered. All those factors need to be factored in benchmarking. So estimate the cost of similar buildings, estimate the cost of similar construction elements, comparing the cost of design options at element level, and cost modeling design solution. Yeah. So this is example of a benchmarking. If you see, we have considered 8 projects, and red is the substructure cost, orange is the superstructure cost, green is the light green is the interior finishes cost, dark green is the fixed furniture and equipment cost, and blue is the services cost. If you see, for example, the superstructure cost, all are in the range of 8% to 40 to 45%. Hardly 1 or 2 projects are above 45 to 46%. Rest all in the similar range. So this gives us the benchmarking, and we can then derive what cost will be incurred for our project. This is the initial stage when details are not available. And coming to tendering process. So this is an example of pre-qualification. We need to do pre-qualification of contractors. This example is for 3 vendors, wherein they are calculated on basis of type of company, whether it is a public or private or a joint venture, the years of practice, the annual turnover for that company for last 5 years, bank solvency certificates, and details of previous executed projects similar in nature. So this is just a sample. There are certain more points on the basis of which vendors are pre-qualified, and then only to selected pre-qualified vendors, the tender process and tenders are floated. A tender event schedule. What will be the schedule of the entire tender? It is identify and freeze procurement routes, freeze list of potential contractors, pre-qualifications, preparation of tenders, floating tenders, pre-bid meeting and site visit of contractors, submission of quotes, evaluation of quotes, negotiations, revise offers, further negotiations, and approval by client, and final award. What are the different type of contracts? The CPWD, then the Indian Institute of Architecture, FEDEC, International Federation of Consulting Engineers, AIA, American Institute of Architects, World Bank, and customized versions. And then what all covers in tender documents is the form of tenders, general conditions, special conditions, commercial conditions, technical specs, tender drawings, BOQs, bill of quantities, safety requirements, and templates and annexures. What are statutorily required, such as the bank guarantees, advance bank guarantees, performance bank guarantees, mobilization bank guarantees. Things to look carefully in the tender documents are the project schedule, whatever the defect liability period, that is after completion of project, till what time the contractor has to maintain all, if any default is there. Usually it is 2 years from the date of handover. The guarantees, the bank guarantees, what I have told, the performance bond, project performance bond, the advance payment, the billing and timelines and processes, retention, safety, quality holds, liquidated damage, suspension, termination. Most of these come during the post-contract part of wherein the monitoring is done. So techno-commercial rating. Here I have given you examples of 3 vendors on how the techno-commercial rating is done. So all the 3 vendors have submitted their quotes. So bill 1 is the regular shell and core works, RCC works, plastering, earthworks, and miscellaneous works, including waterproofing and PT works. Then is the rough earthing and lighting, and last is the site officer and IP-based cameras. So on the basis of all total, if you see, vendor 1 is 19 crores, vendor 2 is 20.96 crores, and vendor 3 is 23. On that basis, the ratings are provided. Vendor 1 is the lowest one, vendor 2 is the lowest 2, and vendor 3 is the highest. Negotiations. Certain points which we need to keep in mind during negotiations are the QRO items, quote rate only, which will, that these items are not executed currently as per the drawings, but this may come later. So usually what happens is during negotiations, we tend to neglect this, and sometimes the contractor has quoted very high. If say the particular rate must be 10 rupees, he has quoted 100 rupees. And these not being part of main contract, these are usually neglected. These you need to negotiate and finalize before you award the contract. Then the average minimum and maximum rates, abnormal items, 80-20 ratios, approved mix conditions, exclusions reviews, rate analysis for major items, basic rate fluctuations, and advance payment cycles and retention BGs. Then comes the cost management. Examples of best practice: cost planning, planning. So best practices to be used are breaking down the cost plan up to maximum possible levels. I have shown you the format, how it is broken down. Then understanding the project schedule, the site, the location, the constraint, use of benchmarking of similar projects, checklist for the cost plan, which I have gone through. Then the escalation and contingency package, breaking down the escalation and contingency package wise. Examples which I have already showed based on cash flows and drawing process levels, rather than considering a flat percent, say 4% or 5% or 10%. Bill of quantities, peer review of large packages, benchmarking of ratios. Ratios benchmarking means certain buildings, say if it is a G plus 30-story building, usually the cement or concrete ratio for that building will be 0.03 m³ per square feet. The steel for that building will be in the range of 5.5 kg per square feet. And the formwork ratio will be 4 square foot per m³ per square feet. So usually these ratios need to be checked with other projects which have already been done. Then the list of major quantities and major quantities should be checked in all bill of quantities, and the item description in bill of quantities should be checked. Then the tender documents, review of contractual conditions, implications along with client's legal cell, and procurement schedule. So these are the various lessons learned from our previous project. That is the scope identification, identifying the scope clearly, clarifications for the minimums. Then the site conditions and decisions. Site conditions such as how the strata is, whether foundation piles are required, whether draft will be required. Then the planning for contingency and changes, the contingency and escalation, what we have discussed. Accuracy of the project budget. Accuracy is very important because client will not appreciate if initially you project a budget of 100 and when you come to actual execution stage, the budget is going at 120. Client will never appreciate such fluctuations. Then come the value engineering options. We as a cost manager with our vast experience need to suggest various value engineering options even during the design and after the design. Proper approval of equivalent makes. If any makes are not available, then we should suggest equivalent makes, which we have used in our other projects, and the results also have been satisfactory. Basic rates and process for approvals. So there are basic rates of certain materials like steel and cement, because usually these are high range items and there is a fluctuation in rates of these materials. Let's say last month reinforcement steel was at 48,000 per metric ton. This month, if you see, it has gone to 51,000 to 52,000. So a huge fluctuation of 3,000, which will affect the overall budget. Then the procurement type of strategy, type of procurement strategy, and the market trends. Coming to conclusions. So construction projects are complex undertaking. So you need to be vigilant as a cost consultant. You should always be on your toes and always see to it that we are providing the best solution to our clients, so that we are saving their money and making them happy. That is a win-win situation for client as well as us, because if the client is happy with us, all his projects he will in future also give it to us and even increase our profitability in that case. Appreciation of type of product and baseline numbers. Then cost must always inform design to make timely decision. So cost should always we should always give the cost which is actual and whatever actual cost as per the design provided, so that client can take an informed decision on that basis. Be mindful of the design ratios, that is the floor to wall ratios, concrete ratios, reinforcement steel ratios. Account for material and labor trends. Set up realistic targets, budgets, considering key drivers, the cost drivers, various cost drivers which I have explained. So you need to consider all those and give realistic target. Even if client is saying I need to fit budget in 2,500 per square feet, and if as per the design project it is coming to 2,800, you need to tell clearly on his face that you need to change in certain designs or a certain aspiration factors, otherwise it is not going to fit in 2,500, which is your expectation. Proper design management and procurement process, provide appropriate contingency escalation for projects, and hand-on project management and project control tools. So just before going to question and answers, just with my experience to all the students, I would like to advise this. So in your life, you will come with various tasks, when you start your career. So there will be people who wish always that the task to happen. There will be people who want the task it to happen, but you should always be the one who will make the task happen. So be amongst the one who will make the task happen. And best of luck to you all for your future careers. So I am open to question and answers round.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. This is Vinod Banwani from Mumbai. Hello.
Yeah.
I have a small question. This the cost. You have done a wonderful presentation and even enlightened the importance of quantity survey. But unfortunately, builders segment they are not giving that much importance to quantity survey. When they suffer, they realize. What is your response on this?
See, I will give you a small example. So if McDonald's is giving a combo package of a burger, a Pepsi, and say fries for 140 rupees, and KFC giving similar package, but additionally what he's giving is 2 chicken wings he's providing. So definitely what the people will prefer is the KFC, since for paying 10 rupees, additional value what he's giving is the chicken wings. Similarly, what you have highlighted is right. We have also faced similar situations. Developers used to say us, what is quantity surveying? It is just a Excel calculation. But with all the tools which I have explained you, the benchmarkings, the
yes.
contingency escalation, all those working, and value engineering and various project experience, what we provide, that is the added portion, and that adds to value why they should apply or give the job to us.
So quantity surveyor in short has to project like KFC. Am I right?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Sir, one more point. Sorry to interrupt. One more point I would like to add in this. After implementation of RERA, so this RERA is now bound to all builders with time and cost. Okay. So now, as you told, it is true that previously builder was not aware or not taking care about the QS, but now because of the RERA, they have to complete the project on time and with their profit, right? So now the importance of QS now getting higher.
It's coming up. Yes, you're right, sir.
So this is also an important point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Ashish, we request you to share presentation through organizers. We'll be thankful.
Yeah. So any more questions?
Sir, where should we send our feedback? On which email ID?
So
The same chat box, the end of the session, the same the Google Meet, we will share the feedback link.
I think Deepa will give you that mail ID, so that not only feedback, also any question any student not asked in this session, they can also raise that question. No issue for that.
Yes, sure. I think there's one question in the chat box. How can we limit forex charges in our projects? By Mr. Vatsal Patel.
See, forex charges.
Answer that,
yeah.
Ashish?
Yeah. I will answer. So forex charges are say applicable to say limited items only, high-end equipments which are procured from outside. Say the chillers. Chillers are usually procured from outside. If the speed of the elevators are more than 3 meters per second, then India doesn't have till now the production capacity for that elevators. So those are sourced from outside. And the STPs, the sewage treatment plants. So usually what happens is we have a benchmark data, say for last 5 years to 10 years, how the forex have changed. So we as a cost manager should envisage by say the requirement will not be initially, say chiller will be required if the duration of project is 36 months, chillers will be required after 12 months to say 16 months, because the lead time is also 6 months. So we need to envisage is during doing the costing, we need to envisage a period of again 12 to 16 months and calculate and consider the fluctuation considering period after 16 to 18 months, and then only we need to cost and budget in our budget sheet. Similar way, you can then negate or mitigate the forex fluctuation charges.
Right. Thank you, Ashish. I think you've got the answer. Yes, wonderful. Do we have any other questions? So if not, then we move ahead for the next post-contract presentation. Any questions, guys? Right. I think looks like we don't have any more questions. Wonderful. Thank you for your response.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing Deepa now.
Yes.
Vilas, I'll hand over to Vilas now.
Sure. Thank you so much for your wonderful, insightful presentation, Ashish. The presentation copy would be shared to each one of you via Gayatri ma'am. Now moving on. Thank you so much, Ashish. Thank you so much for your time. Wonderful. Great. So moving on now, we have Mr. Vilas Zende. Again, he's another expert. He's been having experience of over 20 years in the field of quantity surveying. So he's going to take over and present to you the post-contract. Over to you, Vilas. All the best.
Hello.
Yes, Vilas, you're audible.
Hello. Yeah, audible.
Just, Vilas, there's one question. Just before you go ahead, could you please answer that question from the chat box, please?
Actually, my that chat box is closed. Can you just read that question?
Yes. Mr. Chandran asks, all projects are based on time cost, but due to weather condition, how to reduce the project cost?
Right. See, there are one thing is there, anything which is not in our control, right? Such as a recent example is pandemic, right? Then we lost the 4 or 5 days due to the heavy rain or flooding or something like that. Okay. So that thing we are not in our control. For that, we have one clause in our contract which is related, which is mitigate that, which is required for the extension of time. But now calculate, if you want to close that project into that time, your first responsibility is give the legitimate time for that project. Because I saw in last 20 years, the developers are so enthusiastic or planning engineers are so enthusiastic, though they know from their inside that this project required minimum 18 months for the completion. Then also they are putting 15 months in their tender. Okay. So it is not beyond some limit. There is not magic going to happen. We can reduce the time. Okay. We can reduce the time by implementation of some mechanical resources or some manpowers. But that is also have an optimum limit. Beyond that, nobody can reduce the time. Okay. So first point, you have to give the legitimate time for the project and you have to go for detailed working, not only by the past experience, because each project is having unique project. Okay. So first, give the legitimate time, optimize the resource, manual resource or mechanical resource. Okay. So by doing these two things, and also you have to take into mind that what is the area of free space available on the project side for movement of the all traffic. Okay. Because some project location itself, though it is same project and location is the different or it is main cities, it definitely going to take a longer duration. So time is a very essential and relevant part. While deciding the project time, you have to take care of these 3 points. Okay, then you cannot go to the extension of the time. And if you listen now this post contract, what I'm going to tell you, then this project will not go to the delay. Okay. I hope I have answered it. Yeah. So shall I start?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So before starting, I just want to relate that one thing is common between all students, all of you and me, that is we not like a lecture after recess or after lunchtime. Okay. So this is my condition now. I saw that while starting off this workshop, the number of people crossed.
Vilas, we are
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Vilas, your screen is not visible basically.
No, I am not just sharing screen. I will share
okay.
it right now. Okay. So I'm in the same position, but I will take care that you will next 45 minutes, whatever you will spend on this, it will be fruitful. And I will not make a hurry to complete all the slides. That is our responsibility, because I know that clubbing all the 21 years of experience into this 45 minutes is really difficult. Ashish sir did the very good job, and they're trying to put the all information for you. But I thought there is one thing from your side I'm expecting, that you should keep your glass empty. Okay. If you not keep your glass empty, whatever I'm going to tell you, it is not going to pour on you. Okay. So let's start. We will go for the post contract. Okay, now everyone, my screen is visible for everyone?
No, sir.
Just a minute. Now it is visible?
No, sir.
Wait for a second.
Vilas, you need to click on that window first and then.
I did already that. I will try once again. Just be with me for 2 minutes. Now it's okay?
Yeah, now we can see.
Yeah, okay. So welcome all of you. Now, whatever that I'm going to tell you, it is my experience of last 20 years for handling of the post contract. Okay. Many of the things you would not find in books or somewhere, all in your social media or something. But this prepared with my experience, and if you implement this system and if you note down this system, I will give you 1 or 2 minutes in between, then it is definitely that you can able to do the best job. Okay. So all of you just imagine for a while that you all completed your work, completed your education, and now you are going for your first job, which is a good project. Say for a 7-storied or 10 stories building, you appointed as a cost manager or junior cost engineer on that project, right? So just imagine for 2 minutes, then we will start so that you can able to relate my slides. Okay. See, first of all, why we all are gathering here. So you have one of the points amongst all these things, one of the meaning or purpose of all these things. Somebody came for knowledge, for interaction, time investment, skill or guidelines. Okay. So I hope if you pay enough attention and I can able to explain or pour into your mind 2-3 slides also, then it will be worthful for this time. So what is post contract? The post contract is like a telephone game. You all might have played in our childhood. If one information passed to that one guy and it percolate to the last guy. Okay. So what is our responsibility? Whatever the information written in the pre-contract, which just now explained by Ashish sir. So you will get a one book of 400, 300 pages. Okay. In your hand, when you just join for any project, you will get first book, which is called as a contract document. So this first guy of green color shirt, say this is a first person who passed that message to them. Okay, these all are various departments. Some departments is planning, some execution, some is related to the design. Okay, and our department is related to the quantity survey, which is this last guy who are always in surprise because message is not going to pass perfectly as we require. Okay, so is nothing but whatever the written in that 400 pages document or 300 pages document, our responsibility is it should be get implemented on site as it is. Okay, so while doing that, there are various tasks involved in that. Okay, which we'll going to see in further slide. Okay, so don't be jungle in your mind. Just think that it is one of the game which we have to do the telephone game and we have to pass on the information and we have to implement whatever the written in that contract document, right? So as I said, you now started your first job, you gone to the site, and what is your experience, which is same my experience in last 21 years. The commencement of the post contract project is like a driving of new car, which is not purchased by you, just somebody purchased and given to you for just driving it, right? And we got a driving license just yesterday. That means you got a past mark sheet that you are a good engineer, first class and higher than first class distinction. That is your license. Okay, so you just start, you gone to the site, and this is your same experience. You just started driving your new car. Okay, if you relate that much thing, the further thing will get very clear understanding for you. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to read the user's manual first, which I told you, that contract document, which is our base guidance for execution of that contract. Then we have to learn judgment of car and surrounding. That means while executing that, you have to very much aware about other departments, other project colleagues, and what is going on in the project. Okay, and keep cautiously driving so that you should not dash anybody. You should not bypass any system. You should not go wrong anywhere. Okay, so you have to be alert while appointing as a cost consultant on that project, because you have all ABC. Okay, accelerator, brake, and clutch in your hand, right? I'm just giving information. We will discuss only this 4 topics. Okay, first, what is the post contract management? Okay, second, what is their importance, and third, detailed scope. Okay, in detailed scope also I will go very slowly, right? And question and answer. This is just 4 boxes which I have to jump into. Now, what is a post contract? If you Google all the in your anything for the definition of contract, you will get a detailed definition. And if you go to the Indian Contract Act 1872, you can get a full page of description of this. But I'm just telling you, it is in simple 2 line. It is an agreement between 2 parties that creates a mutual legal obligation. Okay, and this type of contract, daily we are going to meet with each other. If you're going for purchase something, if you're going to purchase the mobile, you have to just do the agreement with them. And in that mobile, you will get some detailed papers. In that paper, all the terms condition has been written. So this type of contracts, mutual agreement, if your mobile get find faulted, then you have to replace within 6 months, 3 months, or you can get free of charge repair. All these things it is mentioned. So in our daily life, we used to bound with many of the contracts. Okay, so simple, it is an agreement between 2 parties that create mutual legal obligation, and it having several number of conditions. Okay, which you will find in the Indian Contract Act 1872. Now, what is a post contract? So after award of the contract, that means just now when the scope of Ashish sir just now told, we award one contractor. Okay, amongst 4 or 5 contractors, we award that contract to the one contractor. That contractor will start the execution of. That means he will just start the mobilization. He attend the kickoff meeting, which is called as a commencement date. So from commencement date to the completion plus defect liability period of that project, this entire duration is called as a post contract. I think you might be heard or you come across the first time a defect liability period. What is defect liability period? From commencement to completion of the project plus some duration are kept for a maintenance, free maintenance for that project is called as a defect liability period. Okay, so from commencement to completion is called as a post contract. So our responsibility start from commencement and will end up to the completion of the project. Then what is commercial management? So commercial management is the identification and implementation of business opportunities in that duration. What is that business opportunities? If there is some opportunity you got to save the cost. Okay, how you can save the cost? While referring the drawing, while referring the contract, anything which is not happened according to that drawing or contract and which is costlier than whatever the return, you can raise an alert. Okay, so this type of opportunities you can reduce the cost. Okay, so I will just combine and summarize that. Post contract management, it is the management of identification and implementation of profitable business opportunity from commencement to the completion of the project. Okay, anyone want to write down? Just write down this last 2 single line which I underline. Okay, and I'm not seeing the chat box of anyone. So anyone have any doubt or any question, just write it down. We will discuss it at the end of the session. Or my voice get unaudible, just tell me. Okay, yeah. So next, what is the importance of post contract? So in short, the post contract, we are responsible for time, cost, that means expenditure and quality up to some extent. Though the quality is a part of education, but while bill certification, we are responsible for that. So it is very important. I told you, clutch, brake and accelerator, A, B, C, time, cost and quality. Okay, so we are the whole responsible person on the project as a QS. So the QS job is very much important on the project. Then we will go to the detailed scope. I will request all of you, if you get time in between this, you can write down all this 10 times. I'm going to discuss just these 10 points. Okay, so first point is a preparation, implementation of communication protocols, right? When you go to the site and you start your job, you should aware to whom you have to communicate and to whom you should not communicate the things. Okay, so prepare and implement the communication protocol. First point. Second point, you can write down, discuss and establish client reporting system. Okay, because you are as a third party, you are a judge on that project. So you are in between contractor and client. So your role is whatever they're happening on site, you should do the proper reporting to the client so that they are fully aware of the project and they can able to take the decision. If something going wrong, they can able to take the decision on time, right? Third point, preparation of project meetings, participation in project meeting. That is also our responsibility. 4, recording of routine measurement and bill certification. Because when contractors start their work, they are going to spend some money, and after completion of that task, as per the contract document and bill of quantity, you have to pay the money to the contractor. So how you are going to pay? In process of bill certification. Okay, so that certification of contractors' bills is also our one responsibility. 5th, validation and evaluation of rate approvals for extra items, basic rate items and variation, right? So what is going to happen? In the contract document, suppose there is 1,000 crore of contract or let's say 100 crores of contract, but while start execution, there might in substructure or while doing some work, contractor may come across the extra variation. What is that extra variation? Which is not written in that contract document or not in that BOQ. So contractor is not going to do that in free of cost. Anyway, they have to charge that money to the client. So before paying that money, that is our role to certify that quantity or certify that amount, which is called as a validation of variations. Then 6th point is evaluation, claim, evaluation and settlement. So by the terms and condition, as per mentioned in the contract document, there might be some chances for violating of that terms condition, maybe because of the client decision, maybe because of the certain condition, environmental condition, or maybe because of change in design. So your contractor going to claim that. So you have to handle that, which is called as a claim evaluation and settlement, which is really very interesting part. 7 is risk assessment. Just now, as told by Ashish sir, there is one chart we have to prepare in pre-contract also and in post-contract also. Whatever the risk going to come into that project, we have to highlight that into our reporting system. 8, cash flow of the project. Also, we are responsible for the cash flow of the project, because what happened, anything, none of the developer, none of the client take pour their own money into the project. They have to borrow that money from some financial institutions. So if we borrow that money, we have to pay the interest, right? So how to borrow that money and how much duration we have to keep that money and what is the time, okay, which is called as a ROI, return on investment. How we can get that return on investment in what duration, that will capture in your cash flow, right? 9 point is reconciliation. So what is that reconciliation? I will just hide this. Reconciliation means some of the material which is not in contract, which is pre-decided by the owner or by the developer, that material which is high end will be supplied by the developer or that client, which is not covered in the contract, which is called as a pre-issue material or basic rate item. Okay, some item in the contract they mark as this is the basic rate, you have to quote the rate accordingly, which is called as a basic rate item. So that material reconciliation, what are the material taken from the client by the contractor, how much it is used, how much is gone wastage, and what is the balance. This all data we have to keep at site and we have to update. If contractor do the wastage more than the permissible limit, then we have to take a recovery from that. That's why this reconciliation is very important. 10th point is commercial closure of the project. After execution, after doing the execution, after handling all these 8, 9, 10 items, there is final responsibility to commercial closure of the project. Okay, I hope that you written all these 10 points. Now I will go step by step, and wherever it is necessary, I will skip that slides instead of going into the detail and keeping the mess and doing the mess in your mind. Okay, so what is first point is, first understand your scope of work. That means whatever the written in the contract and whatever the written while appointing you as a consultant or QS on that project, or you might be the in-house person of that company doing the project cost. First you have to jot down what is your scope of work, what things you have to do. Otherwise what happened, you should not put your leg into the other shoes, because there are various departments, execution, design, planning, they have their own responsibilities. Okay, so you have to first look into your scope of work. You just prepare one chart in your diary, just write down that and get it checked with your senior. Sir, this is our responsibility. Is there anything we have to add or subtract, which is based on the contract document and as per your role of responsibility, right? Don't write all these things. If it is permissible, we will share this slide. Otherwise, we will running short of time. Only just understand what I'm telling. Then one more point of the communication is prepare the communication chart and take it approval from your client or your senior. Why this is important? Because as a third person, there are some confidentiality agreement you are going to hold, or already your company is going to sign. So what data, what communication you have to do to whom, and what you should not communicate to contractor or their subcontractor or any other third parties, that you have to clear in your mind, and you have to establish at the beginning of the project only. Okay, now how you can able to do that? So you just jot down what is the other departments working on your projects. First is the client. Okay, client, that means might be you a part of that client or you are hired as a third party from cost consultant. So one party is client, second is the contractor, and in client also there are two part. One site people, which is called as a project manager or project people. One is a office people, head office people. Okay, so you have to do the communication amongst that, and also the communication to your company, your own company. If you are, in case you are working through as a cost consultant. So you just jot down this column. Then in horizontal, what is the things, what is the scope of or responsibility that you are going to do? Just like a billing, if you want to check the bill, how you have to do the communication to the contractor, client, and this thing. Then second, variation orders, and then the reporting system, which report you have to send to whom and which report you should not share to that contractor or anyone else. You have to share it to the management only, right? So you have to establish that. Next part, then for doing the communication, you require the communication chart. So this is a simple rule. You just write down which different type of contractors working on your project, what is your higher management, what is your colleagues, and what this thing. You just simply prepare their name, addresses, and phone numbers and email IDs, so that wherever there is a necessary, you can get it. And you prepare that as a bifurcation, like a common projects, then account people, project site, planning, design, structural steel, and all these things. Okay, this is simple a communication project chart, but you have to establish this. Then system of document sharing. Just now I told you which document you have to share to whom, that also you have to clear, because you just now, I just heard the news in the yesterday only. The vaccine, the data of vaccine is also leaked by some hackers or something. Okay, so that they are going to prepare some duplicate vaccine or this thing. So this all at higher level this can happen. So why it should not happen in our level also? Okay, so you have to take care of that. Which document you have to share in PDF format, in soft copy format, because if you have your letterhead of your company and you sharing that soft copy to contractor or somebody, there might be chances that it get misused by them, and all blames comes on you. Okay, so you have to just discuss with your seniors, set up the system, which document we have to share the soft copies, which document calculation part we have to share in Excel, whether AutoCAD is share or not, all this soft copy, whatever the document you are going to handle on the project, the form of that document and system should be established. Okay, this is simple point. I'm not telling any high thing, but it is very important. Okay, then preparation and implementation of the communication protocols, right? So list of the document to be in that head, the list of the document to be prepared. Now, as you appointed on the project, what type of document you have to maintain? You can write down this quickly. Bank guarantee tracker. There is one term as a bank guarantee. Contractor has to submit various type of bank guarantees to the client before starting up the project or during that project. Okay, so bank guarantee might be mobilization bank guarantee, performance bank guarantee, retention bank guarantee. You can come across this term later on while we will have some another session in detail, or I will tell you which document you have to refer so that you can get detailed explanation of all these things, right? Then statutory compliances checklist. Okay, so while there are number of statutory compliances that contractor has to comply while doing the work or before starting the work, all these statutory compliances written on this 400-300 pages document, you have to just take out that, list down that, and you have to make a track of that, whether that contractor is maintaining that document. Some document validity get expired within 6 months, 1 year, or 1.5 years before closing of the project. So you have to highlight that. How I can highlight? I set up as a timeline or alarm in either mail or either on my mobile. Is such type of bank guarantee or such type of that statutory document going to expire on so and so date. Okay, so before 40 days or before 35 or 40 days, we have to highlight that to the contractor and management. This document is going to expire. Third is bill tracker. Okay, what are the bills you are certifying day on day or month on month? That tracking you have to keep. How much, who is the contractor, how much bill they claim, what you had certified, right? Then certified extra claim, in between duration of that contract, you have to certify some extra claim of the contractor. You have to keep record of that. Then basic rate variation. Just now I told you some item is mentioned as a basic rate. So you have to track that basic rate approvals also. Then JMR, joint measurement record. Some of the work on site is happened which it cannot be visible after some duration because some other work going to overlap on that. Suppose excavation, contractor did the excavation. If you not take the joint measurement of that depth, width and this thing, it going to fill after some time. And after filled or over of that work, he claim on that bill, but that time you cannot able to check that thing, which is, so such item is required the JMR, which is called as the joint measurement record, right? Then communication letters with the client and contractor. What are the contractual communication will going to happen on the project? You have to keep the record of all these things. Then transmittal advice. What are the document you are submitting to the contractor, any award of the claim or any rate approval, and any document you share to the client or your in-house seniors, you have to prepare the record for that, which is called a transmittal advice. And 10th point is cost report. A monthly cost report you have to prepare. In that cost report, you have to mention all these things what you did from point number 1 to 9, right? Then understand the importance of the reporting system. Now, why reporting system is important? Because day one from morning 9 to unlimited of the time, or 6 o'clock or say 7 o'clock, you are working on the project and you are generating some data, you are doing some communication. If you are not put into the reporting system, nobody will come to know what is going at site. Okay, because your senior and management doesn't have that much of time, so they can involve in day in day out of the work of the project. So you have to prepare that data and you have to do the reporting system as we decided in earlier slide. It might be daily, weekly or monthly. Okay, so in that report system, you can calmly, quietly sit onto your table and you can write all the details. What is the things you have to write, what certify you can prepare. We have the formats of that reporting system. So this reporting system is a very important part because it represents what you are doing at site to your higher management. Okay. Then just we told we have to report some daily and weekly. So what type of report? It is JMR. Okay, some just 4 or 5 documents, and I just bifurcating that. What is the reporting you have to do? That is daily and weekly report might be contain a JMR, then status of your bill certification, then delay of daily work report, then meeting MOM. What are the meeting you had attended? You have to keep the MOM of that. Then in monthly category, it might come as a bank guarantee tracker, variation, statutory compliances. Okay, so these are the, I'm just giving the example, which are the daily, which are the weekly. Okay, then you have to conduct the kickoff meeting. What is the kickoff meeting? As in a pre-contract, some contractor is awarded and you get an intimation on site from the contract department that XYZ contractor is appointed. You have to execute further. So before starting of that work, we have to arrange a meeting, first meeting, which is called as a kickoff meeting. In that first meeting, we have to just introduce our team and we have to just understand their team also, and what is the basic terms and condition mentioned in the contract, which is very basic in nature, which involve your billing system, your safety system, quality system, and compliance system. That you have to just highlight and you have to tell to that team, what are the team of the contractor attending that meeting. Okay, so this is explain the scope of work, discuss the role and responsibility, that discuss in-out timings, what is a weekly, holidays and all these things, right? So this kickoff meeting you have to conduct. In case you are appointed as a consultant, you have to do that kickoff meeting with the client team also, right? Because client project team is a different and office team is always a different team. Okay. Then I just discuss you what is the total, what you have to discuss in the kickoff meeting and while participation. Okay. Now we will, let's see. We have to attend the weekly meeting also, because weekly meeting is conducted by the project manager, PM of the project. You have to attend that weekly meeting also. Why you have to attend? Because you should aware of the current status of the project. We can highlight the contractor non-compliances in that meeting. If contractor is not listen to your email or not responding. And also we can immediately draw the attention of the client regarding any commercial impact. Okay, because in our role or responsibility, what we seen that it is commercial opportunities we have to highlight, right? So if contractor doing something not written in the contract or any drawing which released by the consultant or designer which having the cost impact on our project or that BOQ item, that you can highlight in that meeting. Okay, implementation of the contractor's manpower. Okay, information about contractor's manpower, plant and machinery. All this information you have to take it from that weekly meeting. Why it is necessary? Because while submission of the claim, all this data this will help for your claim settlement. Right? I will just check the time. Okay, I think we will still go for a 10-12 minutes, right? So now for further, it is a routine measurement. So one of our important scope is record of the measurement. So why it is important? Because day in day out site is changing their face. Okay, because construction work is going to progress. Whatever the work did previously is going to overlap by some another work, and his project going to grow further, right? So you have to keep the record of monthly record or daily record of whatever the work done by the contractor, and you have to take the record jointly with the contractor's representative. Okay, otherwise you took the record and if it is not going to accept that, then there is of no use, right? So you have to take the JMR, then that JMR will be the part of your monthly bill, and also you have to take a quantities from the soft copy as a benchmark, because when the contractor claim for one slab, suppose you calculate one slab as 100 m3 and contractor claim in their bill 110 m3, you can quickly get alarmed. Why he is claiming 10 m3 extra? Then you have to go to that measurement and fix the quantity, right? So bill checking is very, very important part for as our scope as a QS, quantity surveyor. How you have to check the bill, what is the detailed things of that bill, and all the things is written in the ISO 1200, because this IS 1200 is mentioned the methods of measurement, how you have to going to measure that quantity, because otherwise there will be a dispute. Contractor will say, no, you have to measure like that. You say, no, this will increase the quantity, you have to measure like that. So this should not be the distribution discussion point of view. There is a IS 1200 which is already recorded, already mentioned how to take a measurement of each and every element, okay, of that project. So you have to refer that and you have to do your bill checking. This is simple format, don't go into detail. It's just we are going to prepare a COP, which is called full form as a certification of payment. This certification of payment will represent all the work done quantities, then what is the recovery you have to take, the retention recovery, what is the debits or whatever the electricity recovery used by the contractor. All these things you have to mention in this COP, and this COP will go to the account department, and based on that account department will give the payment, right? So this entire billing process is the activity of 7 to 10 days for each month, and recording of the measurement is a routine activity, right? This is the cover letter. It might be different to project. Why this cover letter is important? Because anything deviate, but project manager or client asks, okay, no issue, you go ahead, this will fix in next up to the next bill, and you can release the payment. Is such of thing you have to record in your cover letter, right? Because it should be read in next bill and it should be written somewhere. If anything, you are bypassing with the approval of the client, right? So this letter is also important. Now we will come to the point number 5, validation and evaluation of the rate approval for the extra item. Okay, we will go to the point wise. Any new item introduced due to the change in specification, due to the change in amenity of the project, change in the finishing schedule, or any new methodology adopted by the consultant or client. If all these points is responsible for the variation, right? Because contractor quoted for that BOQ, which is sign off in the contract document. If you ask them to do anything apart from that, definitely he will charge extra, okay, which is called as a variation. Now, how to settle that variation? Okay, while settling that variation having a different part. That variation might be a positive variation or negative variation also, because some quantity might get reduced also. Okay, so in the variation process, the purpose of variation is to establish the appropriate process of approval and control of the deviation in the contract value. Just now we discussed on this. Okay, now just now we say ki what is the type of variation. We will go to the type of variation. First type is the quantity variation. Due to change in the quantity, that variation might going to happen. Due to change in that quantity might be changed due to design, then physical strata. Okay, then number of units or capacity, change in the number of units. So it is a 10 stories of building. Now it is going to convert into the 12 story of building. That also going to the change in the quantity variation. Now next part is a rate variation. So what is the rate variation? Suppose anything rate agreed in the contract, but while execution there is a change in rate because of the color, text and nature of the any particular object or any particular item agreed in the contract. For example, suppose tile, the color of tile it changed. Okay, the basic thickness of that tile is changed. Then anyway contractor going to incur cost extra, and he will charge, which is called as a rate variation, right? Since the basic price of material, the change in make of material, that if there is a change in the quality of that material, these all reasons matters to the change in the rate, which is called as a rate variation. Extra item, anything which is not even written in that BOQ, written in that bill of quantity and contract, but required to do by the contractor because of that situation of the project or anything additional scope added, which is called as an extra item. Okay, this is just flow chart, how you have to settle the variation order. This is going to change project by project. Only I will mention 4 steps. Contractor will submit that variation to you. You have to evaluate, certify that variation based on the contract document and what actual happened on the project, and you have to evaluate that. You have to submit your evaluation to your project management team or your concerned department. They will go through that. You have to explain them, and that variation is settled with the contractor, right? These are some chart. This is you don't go in detail in this chart. Only this appear key how you have to validate that. So you have to prepare this comparison. What they submitted, what you evaluated, what is the difference. So you have to prepare a simple chart like this, which is called as a comparative statement. Then comparison of the rate, whatever the given or submitted by this thing, you have to prepare one checklist, because comparative, you might have heard that word, the comparative should be always apple to apple, because contractor submitted some X thing, you compare it to some Y thing, and your cost is lower, then you are to argue with the contractor कि ये मेरा कम cost है, why you are charging ज़्यादा. So this should not happen. Comparative should be apple to apple. So there is a checklist to do that comparative apple to apple. This checklist is there. You can write down that. You can write down this. All items shall be equal in specification. The specification should be equal. Make of material claimed by the contractor. Quality. Then quality. All these things should be equal. The rate shall be excluding taxes. Okay. Then validity of offer. Factory supply location. Lead time of material supply. Any other important note which is mentioned by the contractor, you have to capture in your quote also. So if you go through all these 11 points, I will make sure that your document or your rate will be the apple to apple rate, right? So far, I think we are going on track, but we are running short of time, right? So I will summarize. Instead of going in hurry in further slide, I will go to 1 or 2 slides and I will stop, right? See, this is a format of the variation order. This is going to deviate by side to side. It is as per your company standard, it is going to happen. So this all variation, we will skip this. This point I have to take. The claim evaluation and settlement. So What is claim? If there is deviation in time and cost while working on that project and which is not mentioned in the contract is 100% going to claim that, which is related to the time. Either he asks you to extend the project duration, or either he will ask to exchange the money, or they ask both of them. So you just keep in your mind any variation or any claim is related to time and cost, or time and cost, both of them. Okay. Then while evaluation of this thing, how to evaluate the claim, this just key point. How you evaluate that claim given by the contractor when you are on that project as a quantity surveyor. You have to check the work order, then purchase order, tax invoice submitted by them, accounts ledger, gate entry. You have to ask the contractor submit the gate entry if that material comes to the project. Then quotation, you have to ask them to take a minimum 3 quotation for the market for whatever the rate they are quoting as an extra claim. Then you ask them to submit the rate analysis so that you can able to check point by point. Also the standard task work data, you have to ask them to submit. Then mandates consumption, kitna mandates consume ho gaya for that particular extra item. Then material constant also. So if you ask the contractor to submit all this relevant data, there is a 99% chances that you can derive the very accurate and legitimate cost. Okay, this is just format. We will not go to that format. Okay, so after settlement of after claim evaluation, you have to study the contract document for inclusion and exclusion of the claim, right? In contract document, suppose whatever the contractor claiming was already included, but he oversight or not oversight or by default, by intentionally he claimed that, then you have to first refer to the contract document. For any extra item, any claim settlement, you have to refer the contract document, and whatever the things included in that, you have to just sideline that. Don't consider cost of that. And whatever the remaining extra, only you have to evaluate that cost only. So this list is give you the basic checklist for what inclusion, what exclusion you have to check, right? This also I told you risk assessment report. Whatever the risks are going to occur or come on the project, you have to highlight it. For example, suppose the cement price is going to high or steel price is going to high in some days, then you can intimate the client ki if you are procuring that material, kindly procure it early. Otherwise, cost is going to escalate and you can able to spend the more cost. Or anything extra item or anything design which is not settled by the designer and which cause the delay or which will affect the cost, then also you have to highlight in that. Okay, there are many things. The risk assessment is based on time and cost. Just I showed the example. Increase or decrease in case of rates of steel, it is cost effect. If delay in the contractor on board, koi naya contractor, if we record on board, if it is getting delayed by the contract department, this implement for the time. So this risk assessment report clearly should clear show the cost and time effect, right? Now this cash flow, this is the really detail. We will not go to the detail. Only you have to understand that cash flow means you have to bifurcate the packages. You have to bifurcate the packages of the entire project value. Okay, and while progressing that, you have to show how much cost is incurred and what is cost is balance, right? Suppose 100 crore contract. In the first month, second month, third month, fourth month, fifth month, you are in the fifth month, you have to show the what is the cost consumed, what is the cost balance, and whether it is go on time or not. That means in 18-month project duration, if in fifth month there should be cost consumed of the suppose 10 crores, but actual consume only 7 crore or 8 crore, right? So you have to show the lag on this cash flow also. Why you have to show this cash flow? Because client or your owner should get aware that what budget is balanced and how much cost is going to occur in future. Okay, because this cash flow is based on your project schedule. So whatever the project schedule you are going to take from the PM, and you have to link the cost with that project schedule, so that client come to know कि आने वाले दिन में in next some duration how much cost I have to pour into that project, so they can make the arrangement for that, and what is the extra cost also they incur, they can also take note of that, right? So this is just cash flow, related to the cash flow. Now reconciliation, there are n number of items which can liable for reconciliation. I just want to explain you the single some small thing related to escalation, that reconciliation, that anything if contractor spend extra which is procured by the client, which is not procured by the contractor's own money, then that we have to monitor, and that monitoring of that consumption or monitoring of that extra wastage is called as a reconciliation in simple terms. Okay, why we have to monitor? Because if the limit of that extra expense or extra wastage did by the contractor, they cross that limit, then we are liable, or contractor is default, and we have to recover that cost of material, right? So this reconciliation is important. Now we will go to the last point as a commercial closure of the project. See, why we have to do the commercial project? See, before submission of bill, when we close the award of the contract, that means in your project there are number of contractor awarded by the pre-contract department, and while closing completion of that project, completion of the physical work on site, we have to close that project. And how we have to close? While we do the final billing, final bill certification, that project is going to close, because some excess money, if it is trapped in that contract, we have to release that money and transfer it to the budget, right? Because if we not do that commercial closure, we cannot able to tally the propose what we plan expenditure and what we did the actual expenditure. So before submission, contractor is tendency has to, they are not going to submit the bill on time, final bill, because they have to complete the work and some part is balanced. So you have to take some prior work done statement from them, okay, and we have to certify that work done statement. We have to keep some point open and report it to the client, and after that certification, after completion of that point, you can close their bill, right? So I will just go through that. Before submission of bill, on flag end of the project, on virtual completion of the project, physical work nearly completed, but cleaning work, rework, repairing, testing or trial or run is balanced, and client want to take the project because client is in a hurry to start that work. In that time, we have to take a work done statement from the contractor, which is summary, which is not a tax invoice. It is a summary of completed work, but included the point of balance work. Okay, and after scrutiny of the bill, we have to hold the amount of that balance work which contractor is doing at site, and that we can release it afterward, after completion, right? So commercial closure, we have to, it is a big task. Just a minute. In commercial closure, we have to verify the bill, process of as-built drawing, hander of the guarantee warranty, receipt of the test certificates, jointly signing of debit and recovery statement, sign off of final closure, then sign off of various documents, which is called as a lien waiver sign off, then possession of attic stock. Attic stock means some material contractor install at site like glass, facade glass or tile, which might not be found on the market same after some duration. So we keep some additional stock from the contractor and we pay for them, like a 4%, 3%, 2%, it depends on the material. So that attic stock possession we have to ensure. Then document related to environmental submission like lead certification or something. So this n number of documents we have to confirm the possession of all these compliances, then only we have to clear the final payment, right? So this is the template. This is very from side to side. Okay. Now I am concluding that to do all this post-contract, pre-contract or all these things, you have to go through these 3 documents. This might be your homework, or you can go through that document during your tenure or when you are going to complete your education. So Indian Contract Act 1987, you should read this. If you are interested in cost management, you should read this. Then FIDIC Red Book, Yellow Book. FIDIC is one international company who set their standards of contract documents. There are n number of parts of document there, but at least you should read the FIDIC Red Book or Yellow Book, and you should read the Indian standard IS 1200, which clearly state the method of measurement. If you study these three documents, moreover the understanding of you this thing you can clear. And also you can refer some old project document, GCC, SCC, what are the told by the Ashish sir. It will give you the entire feel of the contract and that project, right? So I thought I try to give as much as possible in this constrained time, and hope you can able to guess or able to write down something and able to grab something. Okay, so thank you very much for listening me and giving this opportunity. This is a really good opportunity for me also. Thank you very much. I am open for question and answer. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me, sir.
This is Vinod Banwari from Mumbai. Sir, at site, the traders, small traders like tiling contractors, carpenters, they have their practices to measure.
Right.
And in contract documents, we either follow IS or some other systems. So
Right.
it is a site engineer who has to bridge the gap and learn both.
Right.
How do you, what would be your suggestions to the younger engineers
Yes, sir.
on this?
See, whatever the, see, our industry is a mixture of all the illiterate people to the postgraduate people, right? So the
Correct.
tiler or traders, whatever you
Correct.
just now told, they have their own system of measurements. But
Correct.
while signing off their subcontract, their rate, okay, while signing or agreeing their rate, you should clearly inform that subcontractor that after completion of work, we will measure your work in this fashion only. We
Okay.
will not add your this pocket which you did there, any cutout
Correct.
which you did there. Okay, you should tell prior to
Yes,
closure of the
that would
rate,
be
so
correct.
that what they will do. I also faced the same situation earlier. So what
Yes.
they will do, they can cater that expenses into their rate itself only.
Correct,
So
correct. You are right.
later on there will not be any dispute. Okay,
Correct.
so they will
Thank
clear
you.
on their part and we are clear on our part.
Thank you, sir. Right answer. Thanks.
Okay.
Right, thank you. There's one question in the chat box, Vilas.
Yeah, tell me.
They're asking for what is the contingency specifically for which items the provision of 5% contingency is allowed.
Yeah, I will answer that, Deepa. So, the excavation and the interior parts, we need to allow for 5% contingency, because excavation are the unforeseen conditions. What will come below the ground, we are not aware. We just have the soil investigation report, which does not give the actual pictures because the bores are done at particular locations. So for those packages, we keep 5%, and even the interiors is dependent on architect's aspiration and client's aspiration. So we keep a higher contingency for that.
Which might be
Thank
more
you.
than 5%, which will vary from 5 to 10%. Yeah. Yes, one more question. Info. Yeah. I think. Do anyone have question? You can just unmute and you can tell. You can speak. No issue.
Right, do we have any questions, guys?
Footing will be very, and so the column height too. Yes, the Amar is telling See, at the time of, if the depth of excavation is increased, in that case, your depth of column is also increased. Okay, your quantity of filling is also increased. So that things also come into the picture. What you are thinking is right. Good.
So answer to Amar's question, we are carrying in concrete 3%. So usually when GFC drawings are already freeze or DD stage, so there will not be much changes in the superstructure or so only changes will be in substructure. That's why we carry 3%. Otherwise, for superstructure, whatever drawings are there as per GFC, you need to construct as per GFC. There should be no deviation also. And contractor cannot claim for any extra apart from GFC drawings. That's why 3% is sufficient in concrete, wherein it will cater to whatever Amar is saying that depth, since excavation will increase, the depth of concrete will also increase.
Yeah, because generally in excavation, client is going to take 2 or 3 pits across that land. Okay, but while actual excavation, we don't know what is strata is going to change. And I saw in last my 21 years career, if 101% there is always variation at the substructure, and it is always there because none of the data is so accurate so that we can take rely. That's why, as Ashish sir told, we keep a 5% contingency for the substructure. Thank you. Okay. Is there any question?
I think Deepa, we can conclude since there are no questions for me.
All right. Thank you so much, Vilas,
Thank you.
for a wonderful presentation. Once again, thank you so much. Thank you all for continuously staying for about 2 hours and listening patiently to us. It brings immense pleasure for Gleeds as a team to actually deliver these content to you, to the future generation. So keep that hunger for learning and do your best in your career. You guys are going to be the future CEOs, remember. So thank you. It was a wonderful, pleasant moment for us. Thank you all for staying up till this time. And over to you. With regards to presentation, I will just get the copy of the PDF and send it to Gayatri ma'am. And with regards to contacting Ashish or Vilas, I have sent out this link. You can actually follow them on your LinkedIn pages. If you need any assistance, you can just reach out to them. Tomorrow on Monday, we are actually going to publish this on our social media as well. So you could probably leave your comments and your, whatever you felt attending the session in that page. So thank you so much for everybody, all your precious time. I hope you have got a value-packed session today. Thank you, Ashish and Vilas once again. Over to you, ma'am. Gayatri ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. On behalf of MSAJC Chennai and MSEC Keelakare, I thank our resource persons for their spacious time and sparing their wonderful experience in the field of cost management and post-contract management. We look forward to see you again for the upcoming workshop, sir. Thank you, both of you, sir. And I extend my thanks to Ms. Deepa from Leeds. And I thank all the participants for your support and cooperation and helping us in carrying out such important event. And last but not least, I thank our management and principals and our HODs for their constant support to organize these type of workshops. Once again, I thank you all for making this workshop a grand success. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, all of you. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Participants, kindly fill the feedback form.